Hi, welcome to the Weeville Garage. Well, here this past weekend or so, we got back from the land speed race there in Arkansas, where Red went and ran 157 miles an hour, which was not as fast as we wanted to go. But the wind was blowing about 20 miles an hour right in Red's big old flat face here, and he couldn't go any faster than that. But I had to slow down about 4 times from 150 something miles an hour. And that should have no effect whatsoever on Red's big brakes. He's got nice brakes all the way around. But on the way home there at one of those stoplights, I kind of almost felt when I was holding the brake pedal down that maybe it was a little bit spongy. And so I'm just going to bleed Red's brakes. Now, everybody knows the drill. You get the wife or the crew chief or a neighbor or somebody to get in there, and they pump the pedal until it's good and stiff, and they hold it, and then you open that valve down here, and their pedal is going to go down to the floor, and they're going to say down, and you close that valve, and then they pump the pedal up again. You do that 3 or 4 times, and that pushes brake fluid out of the caliper into the tube, and you can see if there's any air in it. Now, aside from having some help, there's a lot of ways you can do this by yourself. Well, a number of ways. One time, I went and got one of those power brake bleeders, and you hook that thing up to the fitting here on the reservoir, and you pump that up with air, and that's supposed to pressurize the system. And whenever you open that valve, it just pushes brake fluid through. Kind of the same thing as the bleeding procedure. But over time, I used that thing 2 or 3 times, and it kind of messed up the threads here on the reservoir, and it kind of quit working, so I threw that away. But there is a way, and there's a lot of videos about this on the internet already. You can bleed your brakes by yourself. You get you a bottle, and you put some brake fluid in it. Now, Red's got this high performance brake fluid that he uses. But I'm just to pour some in the bottle, I'm gonna just use this brand X right here. The whole point is, you put brake fluid in that bottle just enough for the end of the hose to be in that fluid, and that's the key to this thing. Is you stick the end of the hose into some fluid in this bottle, and then you can pump, do whatever you want. It's not gonna suck air back into the system. I even think that maybe you could even just put water in this bottle, whatever, because it's not going into the brakes. So anyhow, this is a demonstration of something that is probably widely known already, but it's so much fun. I just wanted to make a video about it. So let's get this thing set up. I'm going to bleed Red's brakes without any help from another human being. What do you think? Now, I got this here bottle. I taped this bottle to this piece of wood, and the whole thing is to where, just to fix it where this bottle, it won't tip over, because that hose, whenever you plug that hose in there, it's going to be wanting to lean on the side of the bottle, and then be cussing and dumping stuff out on the floor and everything. But all I did was I just taped this old water bottle to this here board to make it sit right when you stick that hose in the top of it. And here goes some brake fluid. I don't know. Probably about like that. Just enough for the end of that hose to be down in there to where it can't suck any air. Now, all of your same brake bleeding rules apply here. Naturally, you're going to start farthest away from the master cylinder and then move closer as you go. So in this case, it's going to be right rear, right front, left front, because the master cylinder and the reservoir is over there. Now, I got my wrench on the bleeder valve already, so just like you do any other time, I'm going to stick this hose right down there if I can see it. And I'm going to stick that on there. And I'm going to put the end of the hose down in this here bottle. After I take the cap off the bottle, I'm going to make sure that hose is all the way down in that fluid, down there in the bottom of that bottle, so it can't suck any air. And then I'm just going to open this bleeder valve, and I'm just going to start pumping, and I'll pump until I'm happy with that wheel. And as always, watch your reservoir. Make sure you don't run out of fluid in there, or you'll suck air into the whole system and you'll be starting over and wasting fluid too. So I'm going to start pumping on this wheel. You'll see what happens. I like having the bottle up high. I got it on some stuff just to get it up higher. That way, whatever fluid's in the line, since I'm not watching it myself, all that fluid will be in this line, and if there's a bubble in it, you'll see it. You know, if it was way down low, sometimes that fluid will run straight down in the bottle and you can't really see what you've done as far as getting the air out of it. Now you can see whenever I open that valve, that line's already got some brake fluid in it, but that's okay because the end of this hose was down in that brake fluid down yonder in that bottle. So it can't suck any air back. And I got the valve open, got the hose hooked up, got the end of the hose in the bottle. So I'm gonna go pump this thing, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, just so we can see what's in that line. I bet you there ain't no air in this one. I suspect the left rear, if there's any. Let me get this camera situated right about so. Alrighty then. Yeah, pump, pump, pump. What'd we do? Well, out with 4 strokes. I don't see any air in there. So I'm going to call myself satisfied with that one. I'm going to close this bleeder valve off. Take the hose loose. I'm going to say that wheel's done. I'm going to do all the other ones just like that. See how easy that was? Now I got the wrench on the bleeder valve here on the left rear. I'm going to stick that hose down on there. I'm going to open that valve like that. Doesn't have to be wide ass open. Just going to open it, crack it open, and then I'm going to go pump. Watch this. Well, that was 3 strokes. Don't see any air in that one. I may have been imagining things when I thought the pedal was spongy, but I don't think so. So anyhow, I'm just going to do the other 2 front wheels, and that'll be that. Thank you for watching Weeville Garage, and please tune in later for more episodes. Oh, by the way, I got to close this valve back, like that, before I disconnect this hose. Let it all run down in the bottom. Now have a wonderful day and tune back later for more episodes of Weeville Garage. Have a wonderful day.